Of the KLP Worldwide and Lucas Nation fans, welcome back to another exciting video here on our YouTube channel at KLP Entertainment. And I do want to bring out to, of course, our fan base and everyone, thank you for staying tuned for our shows. But, we're taking our shows around. We're putting them on Instagram, we're putting them on Twitter, we're putting it on Facebook, and also our audio platforms as well. So we're trying to be everywhere for you guys, so that way you guys can have that access everywhere you go with us with our shows. So we do have some things we want to talk about in terms of Microsoft and the CEO. But before we do that, of course, I encourage every student body that goes to Georgia Gwinnett College, if you haven't heard about it yet, what have you been waiting for? I think you've been under a rock if you haven't heard about it. Of course, our peaceful protest will be June 13th. That is a Saturday, this coming Saturday, where students and faculty and staff can come out and do a peaceful protest as we honor George Floyd. We let our voices be heard from the unfortunate events of police brutality and racism. So it's a peaceful protest. Of course, I will be there to not only be a guest speaker, but I will be there to, of course, send out my praise and send out, my love to the GGC community. So it's a grand event. I really recommend you guys coming out to that grand event. Now, on to some news to talk about here on our show. Of course, it is the month of June, so stay tuned. Guardians is coming out June 26th. Of course, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, go watch the trailer. And then after the trailer, go watch the behind the scenes where I take you guys in the studio and I'll show you the making of that film. About an hour and 2 minutes of the film. It's great. It's a great film. And I'm not just saying that because I directed it, of course. But, as I see the movie every day, and I tell you guys, I've seen that movie at least 100 times. Because as a director, you're watching your film 100,000 times to make sure it's perfect. So I'm ready for it to be released. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. Now, let's get on with it. I got my teleprompter here in the studio. Of course, the Microsoft CEO pledges to fight racism through hiring, purchasing, and donations. Now, this is going to be that kind of show where I kind of talk about, of course, the CEO. Of course, this is what's going on around our world. And for my community, I want to advocate you guys to stay woke. And for everyone who just needs to know what's going around with this world today, it's important. So, of course, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, also says he's looking closely at his own attitudes. Now, as we scroll through here, of course, Microsoft will be working to improve the lives of African Americans by pushing better justice system, focusing on its own hiring, donating funds to groups tackling racial inequality, and buying a more diverse suppliers. It's really good. A company recognizes a problem, and that's that's wrong. That's great, but it's, a lot of other companies. There are a lot of companies who have yet to say anything. And it's a lot of companies that I, watch or I buy product from or I watch from their streaming platform. So I'm wondering what they're waiting for. I know, and I've said this in podcasts, I've said this in talk shows before. It is a hard topic to talk about because it's very sensitive. You have to really watch what you say because you can't say the wrong thing. You cannot say the wrong thing when you're talking about this kind of thing that's going around in America. So that could be one reason that some companies that haven't spoke out yet, or they just don't care. And it's sad to say that, but some companies just don't care. They want to care if you're still buying their products and if they're still making money. So that's the thing. Microsoft is different. Microsoft recognizes the problem and they're really trying great efforts to change. Of course, the chief executive, Satya Nadella, said that an all-employee email the company published later Friday, and Nadella is looking more closely at his own attitudes and behavior, he says. Of course, he quotes, and I'll quote him on this show, "I must continue my journey in understanding the empathy and the examine actions I take or don't take. Every day, listening and learning from my Black and African American colleagues is helping me develop a better understanding, of course, from their experiences, and I will take accountability for my own continued learning on the reality of privilege, inequality, and race, and modeling the behavior I want to see in the world." Great CEO. From CEO to another CEO, I really admire those words. That's something that I am taking here in KLP Entertainment. Now, most people don't know about this, but, I have colleagues, I have friends that help me out with KLP Entertainment, and I'm with him on that. I have to watch what I say. I have to watch what I do. I have to watch and really empathize and really listen and learn from my employees. And that's really important that every CEO should understand when you're working for someone or you have colleagues that are in the African American culture and the African American community. You really have to watch what you say. You really have to just listen and learn their concerns. And that's what I think a lot of companies are not doing nowadays. And it's really sad to say, but it's true. And that's what makes a great company is when you listen to your employees. So I do agree with Nadella on this one because, again, from a CEO, I'm a CEO myself, and I like to listen. Of course, several tech executives are trying to take a stand against racism after the death of George Floyd, of course, the 46-year-old black Minnesota man who died last month after a white police officer pinned him down to the ground and knee to the neck. Of course, we're kind of intertwining here with different companies. Of course, Apple CEO Tim Cook and Google CEO Sundar Pichai, and if I pronounce your last name, I'm sorry, have also made personal statements in the wake of Floyd's death and amid the resulting protest and often forceful police response to them. Of course, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has also spoke about the racism that's going around in our country, but some Facebook employees are protesting Facebook's relatively gentle treatment of posts from Donald Trump. So I've heard some things about it with Facebook. I've read some articles, and I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not true or not. I don't know the back end of it. I did read that, Facebook is kind of shielding Trump a little bit. So, I don't know. You let me know what you think, In his email, Nadella says Microsoft is deeply ties and historically black colleagues in universities to improve black hiring. Great. Expanding the supplier diversity program, to which today accounts for 10% of Microsoft spendings of goods and services. Great. Donating $250,000 each to a Black Lives Matter Foundation, Equality Incentives, and Innocence Projects, the Learning Conference, the Minnesota Freedom Fund, and the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund. That is a lot of load for money and cheese. $250,000. Do I think Microsoft could donate more? Yes, because Microsoft got a lot of money. But, they might donate a little bit more after that. But, that's a great start, $250,000. To me, that's a lot of money. Some billionaire probably say, oh, that's chump change. But to me, that's a lot of money. Asking Microsoft employees to participate in the company's diversity and inclusion program. Microsoft, my hat goes out to you for your change, of course. Of course, not only to Microsoft, I know Google and Apple and a little bit of Facebook, they're trying to do a lot of things, but Microsoft is really hitting the nail on the head a little bit. We're really trying to fight this thing, and we're in, like I said before, we're in this fight together, and to show that they're doing something like that for their company is really good. And I tell you what, they're not doing that for just their company's sake. They're not doing it just to look good. They're doing it for a great cause. And that's what I like to see in companies is they do things for a great cause rather than just trying to look good in social media so that way people can see their product or see their brand and buy more of their brand. That's not the purpose of what Microsoft, even Google or Apple, they're not doing all that just for that. They're doing it because they care and they really emphasize with our Black American community and culture for sure. So let me know what you guys think. My hat goes out to Microsoft for the generous donation for these foundations, $250,000. That's a lot of cheese. Let us know what you guys think with this. Do you think, very highly to it? We want to hear you guys in our comments below. That's going to wrap it up with Up Late with KLP. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's show. Please remember to hit that bell notification, letting you guys know about our next episode, and hit that like, comment, and subscribe to KLP Entertainment for sure for more content, more videos, and more media to come later on. That's going to do it for Up Late with KLP. Stay swanky and stay safe.